All right, guys, let's talk about UFC on ESPN +3. They're out in Prague, Czech Republic, with a main event of Jan Blachowicz versus Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos is a slight favorite at -140. Blachowicz comes back at +110. Dan Tom, what do you think goes down in this one?
It's line close for a reason, guys. It's a light heavyweight fight that feels like a heavyweight fight, but we actually got a former middleweight with Thiago Santos, who's been on a roll. He almost seems more confident. Whether we haven't had to see him go too deep, but it seems like he's more confident in his gas tank, I dare say, because he's got a really explosive style. He's quietly improved his wrestling. He does a lot of cross training at American Top Team. Looks like he bounced right back into camp. This guy is super active. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's had quite a few fights, and that aren't necessarily all represented on paper. Remember, he also had that middleweight stand-in for Tavares Adesanya last summer. So this guy's been through a lot of camps. Curious to see if any of that rears its head, but on a technical platform, it's got a lot of layers to it, guys, this matchup. Blachowicz has been kind of criminally underrated. I think because he had that, he could barely get over 500 in the UFC. He would win one, lose one, maybe a little bit of inconsistencies. We saw him gas pretty badly, but he seems to have found a nice home camp. Back at his original camp in Poland, he's bringing in a lot of high-level wrestlers, boxers. He's really putting together his jab. I mean, we saw him outboxing Jimmy Manoa in his fight in London last year, using that jab, but also being able to counter. And I think that's going to be a huge thing here. People who have had success against Thiago Santos were, able to do it in boxing range, whether it was Jack Marshman before he got KO'd, or people who have KO'd him like David Branch and so forth. So I'm going to be looking to see that. I think Blachowicz can surprise a lot of people here. Now, don't get me wrong. Could Thiago Santos take him out of his comfort zone? Jan Blachowicz, that is. Yeah, definitely. And if Jan Blachowicz goes to clinch up like he's done with a lot of guys in the past, Thiago Santos has shown back from his Elias Theodorou fight to even his recent fight with Eric Anders. When guys try to stall there or try to hide their head, he finds it, he elbows him, but at the same time, he's also not beyond being taken down. We saw Kevin Holland, short notice replacement, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, able to hold him down, as well as Eric Anders, who's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even less experienced. I think an experienced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who's improved his wrestling is going to provide some threats. It's going to get dicey if this goes long, guys, but I'm actually going to take Jan Blachowicz and take him by upset knockout. I think he can submit Santos. I think he can win the decision, even though 5 rounds is going to be sketchy for both these guys. I will say, something tells me he's going to do it by knockout. His shifting counter left hand, I don't know. I see that working for him in the second round, maybe.
All right, well, I agree it's going to be a knockout, except I got Santos.
All right.
So Santos, both guys are streaking. Santos has won 3 in a row. Blachowicz has won 4 in a row. And Blachowicz has put away some really, really good light heavyweights. Santos recently ascended to light heavyweight, but, he's always been a big middleweight. And, yeah, I have concerns about, like what Holland was able to do to him. And Blachowicz is one of those guys where when he gets on top, he can be a grinder, and he can make you suffer. So, to me, I see it kind of like a race to see if Santos can implement his game, and that's to be athletic and be explosive and just put it on Blachowicz and get out, cash your check, pay the taxes, bounce back to Brazil, Or if he's going to go in there and this is going to be a fight, and it's going to be a 5-round fight. So kind of like a lot of these fights, the way it works out is, we always have the classic grappler versus striker. I mean, it's so true, but what can they do when things aren't going their way? Who's best at their secondary? I think Blachowicz is better at the secondary, like you noted. He's not a bad striker, but still, I'm just going to go with what I believe is the hot hand in MMA recently. Ngannou and Velasquez, anybody? Just, if you got power and you can put it on someone, I'm riding that hot hand, and I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think Santos will be able to connect and get himself to finish.
I am taking Blachowicz for the reason that you're taking Santos. I feel like his aggression is going to play into Blachowicz's hands, and I think Blachowicz is going to wait for his opportunity, get through the storm, and counter some of that aggression that Santos brings to the table. I see a finish as well. I don't think either one of these guys can go 5 rounds. I see it more maybe around round 3.
Round 3? All right. So 2 Blachowicz, 1 Santos. We'll see, man. Like I said, the odds are really, really close. Shop around, because who knows, maybe by fight time they'll be flipped around. Sometimes that's the way that can happen even as the card is progressing. But either way, one thing you should do is keep it locked on MMA Junkie. We got great videographers and writers out in Prague covering this event for you.